All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What is up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sports Minute. I am Ace from the West Coast, and I am joined tonight by none other than, that's right, tonight he's not J Mac and Cheese, he's not J Mac and Chili. Tonight he is J Mac and Crackers. How's it going tonight, J Mac and Crackers?
I just ate some crackers, so we're good.
Ritz or chicken and biscuit?
Sweet. And
Ritz.
And then, of course, besides that, we're also joined by none other than the Vic. How's it going tonight, Vic?
As you can tell, I loathe Tom Brady, and he doesn't even warrant capital letters anymore. That's how bad I hate him.
Oh, my gosh. I can definitely see that. And then, of course, guess who's back? Back again on Sports Minute. That's right. His name's Brandon Herrera. How's it going tonight, my man?
Hey, it's good. Glad to be back. I know I will not be able to fill Wool's shoes, but I'll do my best to contribute.
I heard you got little feet, so you might be okay.
Well, I got size 12. All right.
So
you know what they say about a man with little shoes.
All right.
They'll be cheaper.
Before we jump into our topics, of course, we have a little bit of
money.
My cat's yelling at me.
We have a little bit of housekeeping we have to do. So obviously, for the first housekeeping we have to do, Nate, go ahead and pull up that little bit of Suzanne's paparazzi jewelry.
Sexy voice.
Suzanne's paparazzi jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
Now, let me tell you what. I know you got to cool yourself off after that because it's Suzanne's paparazzi jewelry. Yeah, it's such a good. That is such a good advertisement. All right. So, of course, now we have to jump into our little bit of our excellent barbecue sauce and jam, that little bit of Misty Meadows. So, all right, Nate the Great, go ahead and pull that up there.
Yummy.
So we see that Misty Meadows, and guess what? As soon as I see it, I want to head to the kitchen and I want to grab some barbecue sauce because that's what I see in that. Like barbecue sauce, jelly. Man, they have just a variety of stuff that I want, and I want it now. I want that bacon barbecue sauce. I love it.
Love it.
Love it. All right. So the Vic, go ahead and tell me how you can win one of those awesome ASAP Network t-shirts.
It's very easy. Just be Oliver. Just be our top commenter, fan, whatever you want to call it, leaving the most comments in our comment site. We read every one of them. We pay attention to them. If you say something good, we post it up here for everybody to see. If you have the most comments at the end of the month, you're a review of the month, and you win a t-shirt. And it's swag. Everybody loves swag. It's fantastic. And I suggest you highly get motivated and type some comments like Garrett and Freddie have already done tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And so, Vic, so let me ask you this. What if you can't come on and comment just like that?
Well, if you're working or driving and you get you don't have time to comment while you're listening to us, you can always message one of us on Facebook, and we'll all respond to you whenever you get to. And for $14.99 plus shipping and handling, you get a size small to a TXL. Bigger sizes cost a little bit more. We all know that. That's how it works. But I mean, $15 plus shipping and handling. That's a bargain. And Valentine's Day is coming up. So I mean, it's a good time to buy some presents.
I love it. I love it, Vic. And I'm glad you mentioned because, ever since Garrett checked out our videos, guess what? He is now pretty much commenting on like every single one of our live shows. And so, Garrett, thank you for hopping on there and commenting because guess what? Every time you do, you're just cementing your viewership of the month, and it's just going on and on and on. So every time you leave one of those comments, they're starting to add up, man. And guess what? Eventually, who knows? You might win one of those Viewer of the Month T-shirts. All right.
That's fantastic.
So as everybody knows, tonight we are going to have some lit topics. So everybody knows that on Wednesday we go over one NFL team and we go over their top 5 quarterbacks of all time. Now, the past few weeks we have covered the NFC West, and guess who we're covering this week in the NFC West? This week, we are covering none other than the Seattle Seahawks.
Woo!
Top 5 Seattle Seahawks quarterback play. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm pretty sure that everybody here is going to have the same number 1. I'm pretty sure. I'm just saying.
Probably.
All right. Huh?
Probably.
All right. So, J-Mac and Crackers. You go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You give me you go ahead and give me your top 5 lists for Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, I'm a proud cracker, by the way. Okay, so I'm gonna start at number 5 for me. He only started 24 games for Seattle, but he started about 250 before that, maybe more, because he played in the CFL also.
My man.
Mr. Warren Moon. Warren Moon, if he had played his whole career in Seattle, they probably have a Super Bowl or 2 other than, before someone else coming up on the list. So Warren Moon was he was a professional. He actually calls their calls their games on radio now for them. So he found a home there in Seattle, and Pacific Northwest proud. Love it. Number 4, Dave Craig. Dave Craig was kind of there with Steve Largent for a time. And we all know who Steve Largent is, one of the greatest receivers in NFL history. So he had a great guy to throw to. Jim Zorn is my number 3. They could have went 3 or 4 either way, I think, with them too. But Jim Zorn had the same players. I mean, he had Steve Largent as well. So, and that's back when Seattle, let's face it, they were not good. They were not good during that time. Steve Largent was their one bright spot, no doubt. Number 2, Matt Hasselbeck. And a lot of people might argue that one. But for me, he was part of a good team there. He led them to a Super Bowl, even though they lost. That's okay. He still led them there. That was something the 3 guys before him didn't do. So we want the ball and we're going to score. I'll never forget that. And picked off by Harris and ran back for a touchdown.
Was that against the Packers?
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. Number 1, Russell Wilson. I don't think there's any question. Hands down, Russell Wilson's the best quarterback Seattle's ever had. He's probably taken that fan base he's probably doubled it. Anytime I ask a Seattle fan now, I'm like, name the starting quarterback before Russell Wilson.
Kitna?
Name one. And if they can go back and tell me Kitna, or they can tell me Rick Meyer, then at least something about Seattle. But when you're like Russell Wilson's the greatest ever, Undoubtedly, yes, he is for the Seahawks, but you're only a fan since he became on the team. So
Bandwagon.
Yeah.
Bandwagon.
Choo choo.
All right. So, J-Mac, I love the list. So now this time, guess what, Mr. Brandon Herrera? You go ahead and give me your top 5 list.
I'm going to pass. J-Mac nailed mine exactly. I mean, I have a second list of quarterbacks I thought would be kind of funny to throw in there if we want to do that. They all got ties to the NFC North, actually. So 3 of them are Vikings and 2 are Packers. So there's my list. I mean,
I'm guessing Matt Flynn is one of those then.
Oh, yeah. You got Matt Flynn. You got
absolutely.
Hasselback. You got Moon. You got Gina Toretta. And you got Tavares Jackson. So
Tavares Jackson.
Yeah.
There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Well, Gina Toretta was a former Heisman Trophy winner that didn't get no action in one game, all but one game. So, all right, Vic, go ahead.
I'm surprised you didn't have Rick Meyer in there. I mean,
I did actually have Rick Meyer in that list too. So,
wow. So
those are dark days. Those are dark. Those are dark.
Oh,
days.
those are really dark days. But J-Mac, my list is identical to J-Mac. So
Brandon's pulling a Freddie and gonna say pass. So
yeah, you guys can
a hot dog with Freddie.
So on this one, so Vic, go ahead and give me your top 5 list. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be roughly the same as J-Max if I had to take a guess.
There's a flip. There's 2 they're different, but I mean, you know, like J-Max said, those 2 could go either 4 or 5. So
exactly.
I'm gonna go number 5 with Warren Moon. In my younger days, I was a freaking psychopath for Warren Moon. I had a shadow box of his Houston Oilers jersey made. I had his little action figure, his rookie cards. I was all about Warren Moon, even though he was a Husky. That was rough for me. But Warren Moon's number 5. He's an all-pro. He's a great dude.
Oh, yeah.
2 years in Seattle. Not a lot of it. No, 24 games, but I mean, in those 24 games, he dominated. He threw for 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 97. Named to his 9th Pro Bowl, MVP of the game. I mean, the dude was phenomenal. Number 4, I got Jim Zorn, so we got him flipped from J-Mac's list. He was cut by Dallas. He was signed as a free agent by Dallas and cut by them. And then he came to Seattle. He played 40 games for Seattle before, finished up in Green Bay and Tampa Bay, but we won't talk about that. Like, J-Mac said, he had, Steve Largent, who was a fantastic weapon, who made any quarterback look good. And he just got a cool name. I mean, Jim Zorn. I mean, come on. That's fantastic. Number 3, I got Dave Craig. Came in 1980. Spent 12 years in Seattle. It's a long time to play with one team, which was awesome. Became a starter in 84. Had 3 Pro Bowl seasons. Finished with 3,600 yards, 30 touchdowns in 84. Led the Seahawks to 12-4, but had 24 interceptions. So had a little bit of work to do. But still, I mean, as far as Seattle history, Dave Craig is one of the top guys. Went with number 2, Matt Hasselbeck. Not a big fan of Matt Hasselbeck, but he did take him to a Super Bowl. I mean, he had Sean Alexander in the backfield. That only made him better. Finished for final season 2005 like 3,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. So he wasn't a big interception guy, like his predecessor, but it's still pretty all right. And then number 1, Russell Wilson. Fun fact that I wasn't aware of: Wilson was selected with the 75th pick overall. For reference, the Jacksonville Jaguars took a punter at number 70. So they passed on Russell Wilson for a punter.
I love it.
Which explains a lot about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wasn't that the same year, by the way, that they took Blaine Gabbert 10th overall in the draft?
Yeah.
Quite possible, yeah. But, I mean, Wilson was 75th, and Jacksonville took a punter at 70. So,
a punter who doesn't even play in the NFL anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
I believe that was Podlish, correct?
I'm not sure. He wasn't that important to me to look up his name. In 8 years, though, Russell Wilson's only thrown 68 interceptions. I don't think that counts this year. This year is kind of rough. But, I mean, the dude is just a once-in-a-lifetime player. And the fact that he came in at 75th pick was just unbelievable. So great job, Seattle. Great job, Russell Wilson. You're number one in Seattle history, probably for a long time.
All right. I love it. I love it, Vic. I love your list. Now, the thing is yeah, my list was kind of the same. A little bit different when you look at it. So I actually went with number 5. My number 5 best Seattle Seahawks quarterback was actually Rick Mirer. And the reason why I put Rick Mirer at number 5 is because statistically he's number 5 all time for Seattle and passing yards. And even when it comes to wins and losses, he was up there with number 5 in that. So when you look at Rick Mirer, he threw for 9,094 yards when he was with Seattle. He threw 41 touchdowns. I know his interception to touchdown ratio wasn't exactly what you would call spectacular in any way, and
or good in any way.
well, trust me, trust me, I get it. I get that, but he's top 5, so that's why I had to put him in there. And I know he didn't have any playoff wins, but still, he wasn't surrounded by much. Let's say that much. And then
He had Joey Galloway.
and then number 4, when you have number 4, you go to Jim Zorn. So I've Jim Zorn at number 4. So Jim Zorn in his career with Seattle Seahawks, he threw for 20,122 yards. He had 107 touchdowns, and then yet again, his interceptions was on the higher end. But it's Jim Zorn, and you got to respect him because he's Jim Zorn. When you look at the wins to losses, he had 40 wins to 60 losses. Now, Jim Zorn, I just completely respect the guy because when you think of Seattle, Jim Zorn is a name that's brought up quite a bit. So that was my number 4. And then my number 3, Dave Craig. Dave Craig. You know why I put Dave Craig up there at number 3? I put Dave Craig up there at number 3 because he's third on the all-time list in passing yards. He's actually second all-time in touchdown passing. So his passing yards, he got 26,132. His touchdowns, he threw 195 touchdowns. His win-loss percentage was actually good. He had 70 wins to 49 losses. And then number 2, of course, Matt Hasselbeck. How could you not go with Matt Hasselbeck at number 2? Now, Matt Hasselbeck, to me, is kind of funny when you're thinking about it because he was the one before Russell Wilson that actually took Seattle Seahawks to a Super Bowl. But we all know how that panned out when they went up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers won that game. And then obviously number 1, you have to go with Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson's like first in everything for Seattle. And it's not even really close. And Russell Wilson, the one guy that finally got them that Super Bowl victory that they needed. So Russell Wilson, number 1 on the all-time list. All-time great Seattle Seahawks.
Is that my headphone that you guys hear that in?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. All right. Yes, that's yours, Vic. All right. So maybe not. All right. So that was our number 1 topic of the night, which was Seattle Seahawks. Now we jump into our number 2 list, and this list was actually kind of interesting because this one you could go. Yeah, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here.
Oh, so it's not just me. I thought it was just me. I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong.
So we're having some technical difficulties here. It's kind of noisy. Somebody's headphones kind of. Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. All right. So number 2. So our number 2 topic tonight is who we believe was like the worst coach of all time, and that's when you want to look at the 4 major sports. So you want to look at the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, NHL, And wow. Hold on. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties here, guys. I apologize. I don't know whose headset that is. Who just paused it? Yeah, I think is that Brandon's? I think that might be Brandon's headset. Yeah, that's Brandon's. Okay, so now, yes, so our number 2 topic is who we believe is the worst coach of all time from any of the major sports. So you look at NFL, you look at NBA, you look at MLB, and you look at NHL. So this list was actually kind of a fun list because there's so many. So because there's so many different coaches that you could choose from. I could have went any direction with this. So you know what, Vic, you go ahead and start out in this one.
Alrighty. Where'd I go?
And she's gone. And it's funny because
Can you hear me?
Because Garrett, yes.
Where's my picture? Where'd I go?
Carol is saying, all right, so Brandon, you go ahead and start out on this one.
Yeah, I will. Quick question: was it one from each sport or just one?
No, just
okay.
one overall, or however you wanted to do it. I don't care.
Okay, because I picked one in each sport. I mean,
that's fine.
Okay,
nope, that's fine too.
So I'm going to go football first, and I'm going to take Mike Ditka. His last 4 years of coaching, he was terrible. I mean, he made one of the biggest mistakes in Saints history by trading all his picks for Ricky Williams, and it didn't work out. So that's my football one. NBA, I'm going Tim Floyd. Just did not have a great record with the Bulls and the Hornets that he coached, 90 and 231. Again, you know, especially in Chicago, didn't go nowhere, didn't do nothing. Hockey, I went with the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I mean, for the Coyotes, he didn't do nothing there for 3 years, but then once he got replaced, the team went to the playoffs. The coach after him was coach of the year, and you know they only did 20 games better. So for hockey is Gretzky. And then my baseball, Ron Gardenhire. I mean, I know he had the division titles, but he just couldn't get over the hump. And then every day was a different lineup for him. I swear he had like 100 lineups in 162 games every year. So, but that's my worst coaching staff for each sport.
All right. So now we'll go back to the Vic on this one. So
hey, she's back.
Vic, you go ahead.
I went with just one. I almost went with Freddie Gonzalez because I just hate him so much for ruining our Braves. But instead I went with Mr. Rod Marinelli of the Detroit Lions from 2008. They were already bad when he took charge, and he did have some talent to work with. I mean, Kitna was a serviceable quarterback. Kevin Jones was a former 1,000-yard rusher. That's enough to at least win one game, right? Right?
You would think.
You would think. No. No. The Lions were 0-16 in 2008. And it was not even pretty. Ever. So he got fired. Thank God. But yeah, I went with Rod Marinelli just because I didn't want to seem biased to go with Freddie Gonzalez because he sucks so bad. But I'm glad he's gone. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about him. He was horrible, and I don't think he's coached since. He's gone. No Lions fan will ever forget his negative impact on the team and the city. So peace out, Rod Marinelli. You suck. Bye-bye.
I like it, Vic. I like it, and I like how you're like, oh, I can't be biased because it's Freddie Gonzalez. I like it. All right, so
but he was horrible.
He was. He killed our franchise for many years. All right.
Yeah.
So J-Mac and Crackers, go ahead and tell me who's your worst coach of all time.
All right. For me, it came down to 3. Brandon's already said 1, which was Tim Floyd. I don't think there'll ever be a worse NBA coach than that. So that was the one for the NBA. Then it also came down to Joe Quinn from Major League Baseball, whose overall record was 23 and 132.
That's going to be my record for our GM game.
I'm just saying, 23 and 132, that's horrible. And for an NFL coach, I went with Marty Morenwig. And I'll tell you, you could go with almost any Detroit Lions quarterback in our coach in history. It's going to be bad. But Morenwig was there 2 years, and he won 5 games. He was 5-27, and they had a pretty good team. Just saying, they had some good players when he coached there.
Yeah, so I must say, J-Mac, I was a little disappointed here because my pick originally, before you came out and said it, was actually Quinn, because I'm like, you know what? When it comes to baseball, you can't get much worse than Quinn. Now you can look back and say, okay, you know, that was 1899. Yeah, it was years back then. But you got to remember too that he also managed what you would call basically pretty much the worst season ever in baseball. They had that 12-win season when they were the Cleveland Spiders. So when you manage 2 seasons and you get a total of 23 wins, I mean, you don't get much worse than that. However, what I did when I talked about it, when I talked about it, what I did was I was looking at that and I was like, you know what? Who was worse? And I could not make a clear decision once you said Joe Quinn. So this is what I did. And I know Nate is saying in the NFL, you can look at Adam Gase. Yeah, you could look at Adam Gase. You could look at Hugh Jackson. I mean, yeah, there were some awful coaches in the NFL, awful. But let's look at one organization total in MLB right now. And that organization that I'm talking about is any manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates after the 1998 season. You can put any of them on that list. They've made the playoffs one time. That was pretty much it. Like, they broke that longest drought and for MLB of playoffs. And guess what? They're now back down to irrelevancy again. So they were there like 1 year and then they went back down again. So you can almost put any Pirates manager up there.
Just to add on to what Ace is saying, not only have they made the playoffs one time since 1992, they have won 81 or more games twice.
I don't even think it was
500 or better 2 times. They finished 81 and 81 1 year. That was the year that they broke the streak of like 20 consecutive seasons, and then they went to the playoffs the following year. Yeah, but they've won. They've been 500 or better twice in 28 years or something. It's insane.
Yeah. Now it's funny though too, because then people look at, so is it the manager's fault with Pittsburgh? How can it be? Okay, how can it be the manager's faults in Pittsburgh? It's got to be GM. It's got to be ownership. I mean, everything, because it all goes downhill. You made the playoffs one time in the last 20 years. There's no way it's all on managers. This organization has been horrible. At what point do the Pirates become relevant again?
Never.
I don't know.
Right. Because right now they're not even close. I mean,
tell you what though, they might battle the Rockies for the worst team in the league this year.
I think Rock.
Cool. Like, I mean, not to go back to that again, but I'm sorry. How did that conversation go with the GMs? Did you call the Rockies and be like, we want your best player, the best player in 15 years? And they're like, no. And they're like, okay, but how about we give you prospects that never played in Major League Baseball and you pay us $50 million? Okay, done.
Yeah, and they took it. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that it's one of those that you'll probably never truly understand. It's those trades you see. It's like when you look back at the Hopkins and David Johnson trade too. That's a trade that we'll never fully understand. That you're like, what is going through their heads when they decide to make these trades? You're like, that is the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen. Why would you do that? And now I completely understand that the Rockies are trying to rebuild, but in order to rebuild, so I'm telling you this. If the Rockies going to rebuild, and yes, we kind of got off a little bit, but that's okay. Because if the Rockies are going to rebuild, obviously they're going to have to trade away Charlie Blackmon. They're going to have to trade away Trevor Story. So those are going to probably be the next two that you're going to see go. And once those two go, they're going to be completely irrelevant. Like, irrelevant worse than what they are now. Now, are they going to be as bad as the Pirates? No, and here's why. Because of the two names I said right now, if they still have Trevor Story and Charlie Blackmon, they're not going to be as bad as the Pirates. Because tell me, does the Pirates have anybody that's going to resemble a Charlie Blackmon or Trevor Story? Absolutely not. Absolutely
Trust me,
not.
I know.
So it's not going to even be close. Because you got to think too, the Pirates just traded their two best players. They traded their best pitcher and Jameson Talion, he's gone. They traded Josh Bell, he's gone. So now they got nothing. They're going to be irrelevant again. So I'm sorry, Pirates fans, and I am friends with a Pirates fan, and he never wants to talk about the Pirates because he knows how horrible they are, and he knows how this season's going to go again. And so I feel bad for Vic because yet again she has the Pirates in the GM game, and I'm sorry, Vic. I don't know how you're going to make that team better. I just don't.
I'm gutting them. I ain't doing nothing. They're just going to do what they do.
You're gutting them. I like it.
But on that, so I'll say that a manager at my store, he's a Pirates fan, and I walked in the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, Andre, Pirates," and he's just like, "You know what? Shut up. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, there's nothing to even talk about."
What's the worst record in baseball right now? Ain't it the Mariners?
As far as like all time?
No, for
All
like
time?
a season. It doesn't the Mariners hold the worst record?
Oh
No, that's the Tigers.
Oh,
No, it's
Tigers. You're right.
Yeah.
Could Pittsburgh break that this year?
I think the Pirates are going to struggle to win 40 games this year.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty bad because you have that Tigers team. That one year when they broke the record, they won like 40 games. Okay. It was like 40 games. They were awful. Like they were god. And I know you can look back and people are going to be like, wait, what about the Cleveland Spiders? You can't say the Cleveland Spiders because number one, they did not play a full 162 games. So that's why you can't count the Cleveland Spiders. Yeah, they won 23 games in 2 seasons, but still, it wasn't a full 162 games. I think they played like 120 games. But even with that being said, I mean, yeah, the Cleveland Spiders probably weren't going to win 40 games like the Tigers did, but still, you really can't put them there yet because you just don't know. But just in case everybody – so going back to J-Mac's picks of the Cleveland Spiders right now, just to kind of clear it up a little bit, that I'm not sure everybody is quite knows about this Cleveland Spiders team and how they became so bad. Well, back in 1899 when the Cleveland Spiders were a team, the Cleveland Spiders were actually owned the owner of the Cleveland Spiders actually owned another team. And so – he realized how bad this Cleveland Spiders team was. So what he decided to do was take – and I want to say that he owned I think it was the Dodgers.
It was the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe he owned the Brooklyn Dodgers too. So basically what he did was he took the best players off the Cleveland Spiders. Once he realized how bad they were, he took their best players, traded them to his own team that he owned again of the LA Dodgers or the Brooklyn Dodgers, and sent the worst players off the Brooklyn Dodgers over to the Cleveland Spiders. So he made a super team and one completely pathetic crap team that you'll probably never ever see again in the history of Major League Baseball. And that brings us back to this year, to where you're like, okay, maybe so with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But anyways, so that's the whole story of the Cleveland Spiders. So that's how they became so bad. It wasn't that they drafted or signed bad players. Their coach killed their owner killed that team by trading all their good players away.
Which, by the way, 10 years later, all the major sports adopted a rule that said you cannot own two teams. I wonder why.
Well, you would have to. You would really, really have to, because that is why that turned out so bad, and that's why that team was so atrocious. Now, is it kind of funny that team was gone next year? They were no longer that after the second year they were gone, and I don't see how you would not. They were so bad. All right.
I wonder why.
So
I'm surprised nobody had Bill O'Brien. I really am.
Well,
just for his sheer stupidity.
No. Well, this is the reason why I would not put Bill O'Brien on that list. And I know people talk about, the trades made from DeAndre Hopkins to David Johnson. I understand that. I get all that. He was in the playoffs for quite a few years with the Houston Texans, and that was because, he had Deshaun Watson, and then for a while, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller in them. So that's why you wouldn't put him up there. But yet again, you have worse coaches in the NFL than him. Let's say, Adam Gase. I mean, Adam Gase was horrible. I don't know why anybody would ever recommend giving Adam Gase another head coaching job. That is just pure pathetic. And then you look at Hugh Jackson with the Cleveland Browns. He was 1-32 before the Cleveland Browns decided to fire him. I'm like, really? It took you that long before you're like, he's fired? How? How did you wait that long to fire him? He had one win in 2 seasons.
But then Bill Belichick had
a tie.
He had a tie. But didn't Bill Belichick have a couple bad years when he started coaching and then went absent and then came back, and look where he's at now? I mean,
yeah,
you're right. He was the Cleveland Browns fan, and then or the Cleveland Browns coach, and then he was supposed to go coach the Jets.
Yep.
Yeah,
so he signed with the Jets and then changed his mind and went and coached the Patriots. That's where this rivalry comes from. I don't know if anyone knows that backstory, but that came from the year 2000. So they've been at each other ever since.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you're looking at the bad head coaches in the NFL, and then you look at Hugh Jackson, remember the year that the Cleveland Browns went 1-15, right? So they went 1-15 with Hugh Jackson as head coach. And then that same year after they go 1-15, everyone's like, you know what? They're going to do better. There's no way that they can do worse. And Hugh Jackson was basically like, hold my beer. And you're like, how? Like you won one game the season before. You have to win more. And then they come out and they're like, 0-16. I'll show you I can do worse. And then the next year they start 0-3 and they finally fire him. I'm like, so you didn't fire him after 1-15. You didn't fire him after 0-16. It took you 3 games the following year to start out 0-3 before you decide to fire the guy?
Yeah.
Like,
I
think taking Brock Osweiler to the playoffs. No,
let's just move on. I don't even want to get started on this conversation. Okay, only Nate would bring up something about an irrelevant Denver Broncos quarterback who was a piece of crap anyway. So,
he has Pittsburgh winning 6 games in a 162-game season. So,
well. I mean, all right. So,
let me say something on that. By the way, you guys Ace was saying that the Spiders didn't play 162 games. Well, at this point, we have the worst commissioner in the history of sports running Major League Baseball right now, and Manfred. And who knows how many games they're going to play this year? We might play 9. Who knows? Because he does this crap every year, just like he did last year. Like baseball came back. It was popular. Then he has to do all this stuff. And I know COVID was last year, but don't mess with the game this year, please. And he's already tried to do it. He's already like, we're going to go a month back and play 8 less games. Why?
Well, they did reject that though when he came out and said I want 152 games. The players union came out and rejected it and said no, we're not doing that. We want a full season. So that one has already been rejected. So I don't think you're gonna lose out on any games this year. However, so let's say for instance, I just want predictions really quick. So let's say, for instance, that they play 162 games. Now I'm talking about predictions of the Pirates, just so we can clear this up. So 162 games, they play a full season. J-Mac, how many wins are you giving them? Are they going to finally break the record of the worst MLB record ever?
Yeah, they'll win 38 games.
Ooh. All right. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with J-Mac, 35, 38. I don't see him going over 40.
All right. The Vic, how about you?
42.
40. I'd say play 365 games. I like it. All right. Yeah, they're not. It's definitely going to be close. And I know Vic wants to put him over there because she has him in the GM game. So
I don't care about
she's
that.
like, I got to have him up there. You need those wins to help you out, but I'm sorry, you're not going to get it from Pittsburgh in any way. And maybe not even Seattle, but all right. So.
Well, J-Mac, if they win 38 games, they tie the record. So we got to go 37.
There you go. All right. So now we'll jump into our next topic. And I've been wanting to talk about this because this has actually kind of been a big thing for a while, to where you saw that Lionel Messi signed basically a record-breaking contract with Barcelona. He signed for $625 million in soccer. Now, there's that huge lawsuit that he's got going against a paper that came out and broke that because of he did not want people to know about it yet. So they came out and reported it, and then Messi's like, okay, I'm going to put a lawsuit against them. So, J-Mac, you go ahead and start out and tell me, what do you think of this? Because to me personally, if you're going to sign a contract, it's obviously going to get out there. So I don't see what the big deal is really. I mean, he signed the contract, it's over. So it's getting out there. Everybody's going to know the amount of the contract that you signed for.
I'm trying to wrap my head around. Man, you just got a contract for $625 million. Who gives a crap who put the story out, man? Like, what, are you just trying to, like, prove a point or something? Just take your money and play your game. Who cares? Man,
Yeah.
Your name's already big, and all the money your grandkids, I don't know, like 4 generations from now, you're going to have to worry about anything. Who cares?
Yeah, and now think for anybody who might not know who Lionel Messi is, which I really hope you do, but if you don't, that's completely okay. He's actually a soccer player, and he's now signed the richest contract ever in soccer. I don't even know if you'll ever see it again. But,
ever in sports, by the way.
Yeah, ever in sports.
I mean, $625 million. So, well, the only reason I said soccer is because he plays soccer. That's the only reason I said the richest contract ever in soccer. But I don't even think you probably won't even see that again. That was
it's an 8-year deal for $625 million. Yeah. By the way, anyone who's good at math, I mean that's like $77 some odd million a year.
Yeah.
Like $77 million a year, and you want to worry about who leaked it? Who gives a crap?
Yeah, so Brandon, go ahead and give me your thoughts on this. What do you think about this whole thing going down?
I mean, that's the area we live in now. I mean, everything's leaked out on the internet. I mean, everything's getting ruined because of the internet. J-Mac's right. I mean, you're getting paid $625 million. You're getting $77 million a year. Who cares who leaked it? I mean, But I mean, the contract's outrageous. I know soccer is a big sport overseas, compared to probably our basketball or football. So I mean, for them, yeah, that contract's outrageous. I mean, they're already comparing to who would make that money here. I mean, Pat Mahomes might be the next one. Who knows? I mean, that money is just outrageous, ridiculous. They're set for life.
I mean, Pat Mahomes so far has been the closest with the 500 million, but
Yeah.
that's yeah, you're shaking your head like dang. Like I'm telling
I'm
you,
in the wrong business, man. Like I'm in the wrong business. All I'm saying, I just want to be like a scout player for the practice squad, and I'll be making like 7 times what I make now.
yeah. So Vic, go ahead and tell me what you think about this.
Well, it's just that's a lot of money, and maybe he doesn't want people to know because he's embarrassed that he doesn't deserve it. I don't know. So in my mind, nobody deserves $78 million a year. That's just excessive. That's just too much. That money should be spent elsewhere, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's stupid to sue a newspaper for breaking a story. That's what they do. Duh. They investigate, they find stuff out, and they report it. Big whoop, they found out how much you made. Big, it's not. Were you trying to keep it a secret? Did you not want people to know how much you made so you could complain that you weren't making enough money? But I don't know. I think the contracts these athletes get nowadays in any sport is just ridiculous and way too excessive. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't feel that he deserved it. He didn't want people to know.
Yeah, it's still one of those things. Like, and to me, it was kind of a shocker that he signed with Barcelona for that much money. I was not expecting him to sign with Barcelona for that much money. Like, that's one thing I'm like, really? Barcelona for $625 million? You had multiple options out there, and you chose Barcelona. So,
but you also have to look at that if he stays with Barcelona, that means that he stays in the Spanish league and doesn't have to go to the English Premier League, where he might not be the top player if he went to Man City, where he can be the guy in the Spanish league.
I want to say I agree with you on that, but who are you going to put in front of Messi? Who are you going to put in front of him?
I'm not saying I'm putting anybody in front of him. I'm just making a point of, like, if you go to the English Premier League and they find out you're making $77.7 million a year, well, the next big thing that comes up, he's going to be like, well, I want 80.
Because
I don't know.
Because you can't put Ronaldo in front of Messi like people have tried to do before, but you can't do it. I mean, right now it's clear and obvious Messi's the best soccer player there is. You're not going to get better than him currently. In the future, I don't know. Maybe is Messi the greatest of all time? No, but right now he's the best that's out there. So for me personally, I don't think it would have mattered where he went. Now, I get your point about people going, okay, well, if he's making this, then I want more. But if they're not better than Messi and they know that, how can they demand more?
Well, I mean, how can Kirk Cousins go to the Vikings and steal $28 million a year from them and get paid more than 10 quarterbacks below him that all have better numbers?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get started on that one.
Who signed up for that? Like, he walked in to Minnesota and was like, I want $28 million a year. And they're like, all right, done.
Well, the Jets offered him more, but the guaranteed money wasn't the same. So he came.
No, he got a fully guaranteed contract.
I know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that was our little bit of conversation about Lionel Messi. I just wanted to get everybody's view on that because I really thought once I saw it, I'm like, man, that's stupid. You want to sue a newspaper, magazine because of that, and not only that, but you want to sue them for $125 million, like. Like you just made $625 million. Now you want to go out and sign to and sue a newspaper for $125 million.
For doing their job.
Money's a number. Numbers never end. If your happiness all revolves around money, you'll never be happy.
Well
All
said,
right.
J-Mac.
So now we go into our next topic, which is it's J-Mac Spotlight Player. So J-Mac, who do you have for us tonight on your Spotlight Player?
Well, let me throw out some numbers and we'll see if you guys can guess. I love doing this part because sometimes you know it and sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Right? Exactly. So I'll start with this. This is an NFL player who was undrafted. He is in the College Football Hall of Fame. He has 11 team records.
Tony Romo.
Even though being undrafted, it is not Tony Romo.
And he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, so that's 2. I had 2.
Yep. So he was the first undrafted player to ever reach 10,000 receiving yards.
Oh,
He has the most receiving yards and touchdown receptions of any undrafted player in NFL history. He ranks second on the most receptions for an undrafted player, only behind Wes Welker, a former J-Mac Spotlight player.
so okay,
And he ranks first. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
He
I
ranks first.
I think we've talked about him before.
We have.
Broncos
He
guy.
ranks, yes, first all time on Denver's all time yards from scrimmage list.
Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp was drafted, fool.
No, well then no. Who?
Rod Smith.
Oh, Rod. Yes, I was like
Rod Smith is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, this guy was undrafted. He had 849 career catches, which is 27th all time. He's in the top 30 in catches and didn't get drafted out of college. He has 11,389 career receiving yards, which is 31st all time, and 68 receiving touchdowns, 71 total touchdowns. I mean, this guy was not drafted. We talk about Russell Wilson being drafted 75th overall. This guy still holds 11 Broncos receiving records, and he wasn't drafted at all out of college. That's just crazy to me. You'll find these guys, and so I got to ask you guys, now that we went through all those numbers, even though he was undrafted, does Rod Smith ever have a chance at making the Hall of Fame?
He should. He should already be there.
I mean, yeah. You would think you would.
Excuse me.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think, too. He should make the Hall of Fame. But, thanks for that, Amy. I was getting to that later in the show, by the way.
Way to blow it, Ivy.
So
Good
you just
job.
blew that one. Anyway, we'll get there. Oh, yeah. So Rod Smith is the spotlight player. I try to do this to guys that aren't huge names because we need to get their names out there more for Hall of Fame consideration. We did Fred Taylor. We did Wes Welker. These guys that are great players that just don't get the recognition that they deserve. So Rod Smith is this week. And, yeah. So what else we got?
I like
All
it.
right, so we're talking about the Hall of Fame, and we've talked about this multiple times. Well, the players, anyways. But I want to know, in your guys' opinions, when people are talking about Hall of Fame, people immediately go to get in the Hall of Fame. They feel like you should have to have a ring. Now, do you feel like you should have to have a ring to get in the Hall of Fame?
No. I mean, what? It's one of those situations where I see both sides of it. I can see your argument for it, but again, I'll use this example. Everyone says that Tom Brady's the GOAT. We've heard that how many times? How many times have we heard that? Okay? But there's a difference between the most talented player of all time and the most accomplished player of all time.
Or the
And that's where that lies
luckiest
for me.
player of all
So
time.
you can have Another good example is in the NBA. Robert Ory has 7 rings. 7.
Bill Russell has 11.
Right. But is Robert Ory a Hall of Famer? Not even close. No. But he's
Charles
got 7
Barkley
rings.
has 0, and he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. Like, rings aren't everything. It's not required to get in the Hall of Fame. Does it help your resume? Of course it does. But that's a team accomplishment, not an individual accomplishment.
Yeah, I heard talks that they were saying Peyton didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame unless he won 2. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
that's just absolutely ridiculous. A ring should not make a difference. Whether
how
you
many
get
rings does Dan Marino have?
He has 0.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've said that before, but then the thing that people bring back at me when I talk about Marino, when I'm like, okay, so you're talking about you have to have a ring to get in, yet Dan Marino got in and he doesn't have a ring. And like, yeah, but it's Dan Marino. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, my point is, yeah, at one time he had the record in yards and touchdowns like for years until Brett Favre came and broke them. And then you're like, okay, so Marino's in without 0 rings, but then people start looking at Phillip Rivers and like, no, he shouldn't be in because, of no rings or blah, 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 or whatever. But I mean, come on, it should be numbers. So you have to look at statistics. And that's when I feel it is going to be the biggest thing for somebody in the Hall of Fame. Because if you want to talk about rings, I mean, freaking Brad Johnson has a Super Bowl ring. Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl. Do these guys belong in the Hall of Fame because they have rings? I mean, absolutely not.
Larry Brown has a Super Bowl
David
ring.
Carr won a Super Bowl ring with the Giants.
Jared Lorenzen has 2 rings. Does Jared Lorenzen belong in the Hall of Fame because he has 2 rings?
I don't know who he is. Who is he?
Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty. That's all you got to look up is the hefty lefty.
The hefty lefty. He was backup for the Giants for like 8 years, like for a very, very long time. All he did was back up Eli Manning, and he won 2 rings. And then everyone's like, "Oh, if you win rings, you should be in." The dude never.
That's how David Carr got his ring, backing up Eli.
Exactly.
Did the hefty lefty go play arena football? Or okay.
He did, but that doesn't
He
matter.
played for the Iowa Barnstormers, and then he played for the what city were they from? But they were they were the River Monsters. I remember that. Yeah. And watching him like it's like a defensive lineman running at you. With the ball.
Yeah, so, but that was the point I was trying to make is you have those people who win rings. And you're saying if you win rings, you belong in the Hall of Fame? Those guys have rings, so they belong in? Oh, heck no. Definitely not. So rings should not matter.
No,
it shouldn't. And, coming in baseball, honestly, I'm a big Terry Puckett fan, and I don't think he should have been in on the first ballot. And actually, some people give me grief about that and say I'm not a true fan. It's like, no, I am. I just don't think his numbers, even though he has 2 rings, was a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's my opinion. I'm glad the guys got in. Don't get me wrong, but it's not all about the rings. It's about numbers. And
Brandon, I completely agree with you on that aspect because here's why. I am one of the, like, I'll tell you, I'm a diehard Packer fan. I'm a diehard Brave fan. I'm a diehard Pistons fan and Red Wings fan. But the one thing I will tell you is I am a realist. I will not come out here and tell you some absurd thing and be like, oh no, this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame or the game wasn't lost because of this person or whatever. No.
That's my job.
I will be a realist and come out and tell you when I think something's wrong or this person doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame and they played on one of my favorite teams, I'll come out and tell you. But then when people like us do that, we get bashed for it because they're like, how can you be a diehard fan and say that this person doesn't belong in? That's not the point. The point is that we're realist about it. We're coming out and being like, this is why they don't belong.
I get that. That's why stress that I'm just a sports fan. Yes, I like my local teams. Don't get me wrong. I want to see them win. But if they're going to play bad, I'm going to call them out on it, and if they play good, I'll call them out on it, and praise them. But I get called a bandwagon jumper, bandwagon fan all the time, even this year when I had a good reason to root for the Packers. Oh, you're just a bandwagon fan. No, I had a reason that I wanted to see the Packers win. Overall, in my heart, did I want them to win? No, but I was going for them for a personal reason, so, I mean, you can't be a fan, a true fan without calling your team out, I believe, so you see the wrong, call them out on it.
You have to be able to call your teams out even when you're a diehard fan. You have to know when something isn't right. And if there's the thing that bugs me more too, when you look at that, is you're watching a game on TV and a penalty clearly happens.
Oh yeah.
And the fans go boo, and you're like, what? You're like, I'm a fan of that team, and it's a clear penalty. So what the heck are you booing for? It's like, I don't understand that. But anyways, going back to the Hall of Fame thing. So I think we all agree that you don't have to have a ring to get in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Right.
All right,
Just because you have a ring doesn't mean you deserve to be in there.
Yep.
And so, Brandon, we heard your take on this last night. So I'm going to jump to J-Mac and the Vic on this one too. So what was your guys' thoughts on no Hall of Fame in baseball this year? Because when you think about it, I think a lot of people are saying no because of the steroid era. So when you look at like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, they're all saying no. But then you have a guy like Curt Schilling, who's never been investigated for PED use, and they've never came out and said, oh, he's been on PED. So how can you keep him out of a Hall of Fame when he clearly has the numbers for it? So, J-Mac, you go ahead and start out and give me your thoughts on no Hall of Fame in MLB this year.
I think he would have been the only one on the ballot that should have made the Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, he didn't. Other than him, there wasn't anyone else that I saw that deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And you can talk about the steroid era all you want. It brought baseball back to life in America. I'm not going to get off on that tangent, but those guys, that was the time that they played in. And actually, when most of them played and used steroids, they weren't illegal, not the ones they were using. They weren't illegal until after the fact, and then they brought it up. And went back to those guys. But Curt Schilling should have been in the Hall of Fame, and it's actually a travesty that he didn't make it. And now he doesn't want to be on the ballot next year, and that's unfortunate for all of America, really, and all the baseball world.
So, in your opinion, should guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, who have basically been founded to use steroids and PEDs, do you think that those type of things should keep you out of the Hall of Fame?
That's a tough question. I guess I would look at it like this. So I would look at it as I would take the numbers from the seasons that we know in which it was illegal to use those. So say it was the last 3 years of Bond's career that it was illegal, or the year he set the record for home runs. We take those out, and then we look at his numbers, and if his numbers are good enough for the Hall of Fame, then he should be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, so the Vic, you go ahead and tell me your thoughts on this.
I think if you cheat, you don't deserve it, period. I don't think Barry Bonds deserves it. I don't think Roger Clemens deserves it. I don't think Ryan Braun or even Alex Rodriguez, who's next year, deserves it. They cheated, and that skewed their numbers. Whether it was whatever it was going to be without it, it skewed their numbers. There's no way to go back and say, well, if they hadn't done steroids, their numbers would have been this. They don't know that. They can't foresee the past and redo it. If you cheat, you don't get rewarded. They made millions of dollars playing baseball, cheating. Steroids are cheating. I'm sorry. And, I like Alex Rodriguez until he cheated. And then I can't stand him because that's horrible. That's not setting a good example for the people that watch you, your fans. And Curt Schilling totally should be in there. I mean, the dude he's famous with a bloody sock. I mean, come on. He's got rings. He's got the numbers. I think he was, 71% of the vote is what he had? It was his ninth year. So how many years do they have on there? 9 or 10? Before they're off.
10, I believe.
10, yeah.
So, I mean, he's even got 29 RBIs. Come on. It's Curt Schilling. He's got 1 stolen base. That alone should get him in the Hall of Fame.
Does he really?
He does.
Yeah.
Wow.
1 stolen base.
And that's why I agree with you that Curt Schilling not being on, like, being voted in the Hall of Fame, that's an absolute travesty. Like that is just that's just crazy, because nobody's ever came out and said that he used any type of steroids or nothing.
No.
So
he's requested to be removed, I heard. So he doesn't want to have any part of it anymore. And I don't blame him.
But I think the problem is. But I think the problem is because the era he was playing in was the steroid era, and so I think that's the biggest problem that people are having. Like, yeah, it's a steroid era, so how do we know? But I mean,
okay, but Chipper Jones played in that era, and he's a no-doubter Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely,
exactly.
So it's the same thing. How do we know he didn't use it? We don't.
Exactly.
I'm not saying he did. I'm not accusing him of anything.
I mean,
but these Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens have been caught and admitted to it.
You know, Griffey is another one that played. You know,
yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. Come on, yeah,
you know,
totally. How Barry Bonds is even relevant in a conversation for Hall of Fame anymore disgusts me. Period. And I'm sorry if that offends any Barry Bonds fans, but I don't like him. He's a cheater. He's not the home run king. Hank Aaron's the home run king. Always will be. And the fact that he got more votes than Andrew Jones, who is way better of a fielder and a player all around, is just disgusting. By whoever's voting for these people needs to have their votes taken away. If you cheat, you don't get rewarded. That's the rule. That should be the rule everywhere.
All right, so let me ask you this before we move on to our mini game here. But my question is, so we know that, you know, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and them guys have been caught with steroid use and PED use, but then you look at the other angle for, let's say, Sammy Sosa, and you know, Sammy Sosa that one time got busted for using a cork bat. So, you guys think that that's something that maybe Sammy Sosa was doing his whole career, or do you think it was actually accidental, like Sammy Sosa was saying? And the thing is how would you prove that he used it for for years? You really can't prove it.
Sorry, I accidentally shoved the needle in my arm and jaked myself full of steroids. It must have slipped and fell.
Brandon, so you go ahead and tell me. So you start out and tell me your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, you can't prove it. I mean, you got to take the guy's word for it, I would say. I like Sammy Sosa. I mean, do I think he used steroids? Maybe. You know, but he also came out and said he wanted to be tested, and the MLB said, no, you're not getting tested. So, but the whole cork back thing, I mean, it could have been a grab by the bat boy. You know, who knows? Because I know a lot of players use different bats in batting practice and stuff. So I'm taking his word for it. You know, maybe I'm the only one, but I like Sammy Sosa. I like what he did for Chicago Cubs, and you know, and the whole chase with him and McGuire. So
yeah, that brought America back to baseball.
Yeah.
All right, Vic.
Whether they cheated or not, that brought America back to baseball.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that with the cork bat with Sammy Sosa and everything?
I think a hitter knows their bat. They know the feel of their bat. They know how it's going to swing. And to say that you didn't know it was a cork bat doesn't fly with me. You're a professional hitter. You know your equipment. You know how something feels. Like if they don't have enough pine tar, they go put more pine tar. It doesn't feel right. So I mean, he says he didn't know, but it's just, how do you not know? It's like I can pick up something and I can tell the difference. If it's something I use every day and it's my job, I'm going to know how something feels in my hand. And if it's a cork bat and a regular bat, probably feel and weigh differently. So you got to know the difference. But I mean, cheating or not, I hate cheating and it was horrible. But I don't think had that not happened, baseball wouldn't be back the way it is or the way it was. Those two alone are the reason baseball is relevant still.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So cheating or not, it's what was needed at the time, but it's still not right. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, but at the time as well, the supplements that they were using were not illegal in baseball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those didn't happen until after 2000. So that season, they actually were not technically cheating. I'm not saying what they did was right. Don't get me on that. But that year, they weren't technically cheating. So we can't really say that they were cheating then. I mean, after that, who knows?
I mean, if Sosa would have got busted, 2-3 times with the cork bat, then I see Vic's point. The equipment, so. But one time, I give him a pass.
Because, J-Mac, you're talking about that year that, was legal of the race, the home run race. That's what you're talking about. But that was also that same year of the cork bat. And so that's the point. Like, that's not legal in any way. A cork bat is not legal. That's never been legal. And so I don't know if that is going to play a big factor on that home run race when people are – because I'll tell you what, we have it recorded, that home run that McGuire hit to break the record. We have that on tape because that was something like everyone like, oh, is this the game? Is this the game they're going to break it? Is this it? Is this it? Because you would see McGuire go up and then Sosa go up and then McGuire go up and Sosa go up. And you're like, which one's going to get there first? It just happened to be Mark McGuire that got there first. So,
and to Brandon's point with the cork bat, he was caught once.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how many times that he wasn't caught.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're caught once. That doesn't set a good precedent for how many times you're in the future. Dave, shut your mouth.
Vic, you make great points. I can't argue with you.
It's pointless to argue with me because I'll win.
So Dave is saying let them all in. So Mess Around is saying screw it, let them all in. He's saying just let everybody in.
Have you met Dave? Have you met Dave?
This ain't the WWE Hall of Fame. We're not letting everybody in.
Right?
This isn't JV, Dave. Right. This isn't JV.
That was a good point. I don't even watch the WWE anymore, but I could tell you that was a good point, Brandon.
Well, that's kind of the same as the NBA too. NBA.
Yeah. Oh,
NBA Hall of Fame is pretty much.
Don't get me started on the NBA Hall of Fame.
So many people get in the NBA Hall of Fame. It's like I even think Brandon's in the NBA Hall of Fame. That's how
I can get my name on the ballot and get in the Hall of Fame.
Right? Yeah,
I don't even play basketball.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So now we jump to the mini games here, and so.
So, Ace, let me break in for a second. So, what is your rules on this mini game? I've been trying to follow, when Will was on and listen to you guys. So, what is you guys all picked 6 teams, right?
Yes.
We didn't get to pick the teams, Brandon.
Okay.
We picked a number that was assigned to a team.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's get that straight.
So Ace rigged it. Okay. So
yeah.
So
I didn't rig it.
So
it's mathematically impossible for me to get all the horrible teams I did, picking the numbers I did.
Okay, so you guys get 2 moves a week, right, per team?
Yes.
And depending on what division you are. Okay, I've been trying to follow along and kind of judge on who I think is making the moves right now. So
all right, so this week we're doing the AL West. So before we get started, we'll let everybody know. And Nate, there you go. Okay, so just so everybody knows, my AL West team is the Houston Astros. J-Mac, who is your AL West team?
The Oakland A's.
Oakland A's, okay. Nate, who is your AL West team?
The Angels.
The Angels.
You say it like they're horrible, Nate. You say it like they're the Mariners or something.
Remember, though, Nate wants to blow up that organization. He said he's going to trade everybody off that team to make them worse. That's his goal. All right. Vic?
Seattle.
She has Seattle, and then Will Polston has the Rangers. He's got the Rangers.
No, Vic. First off, don't be sad that you got Seattle. Seattle's a nice young team coming up. I mean, you can make them good in a couple moves. Just trade with Nate. Nate's willing to blow up everybody. So
I got a trade proposal for Nate. I got one.
All right.
All right. So okay. So we're gonna start out this round here. The AL West. We're gonna start this out with Vic because she says she has a trade proposal for Nate. So Nate. So Vic, you go ahead and propose your trade to Nate.
All right, Nate. Atlanta needs a third baseman. I have a veteran third baseman in Kyle Seager.
Ooh.
I am willing to offer Kyle Seager for Austin Riley and Ian Anderson. Ace, you shut your mouth.
No, I was going to say, didn't you trade? I thought you traded Austin Riley at one point. I thought
you did. I have Austin Riley on the Cubs.
Nate, you turd.
Nate traded him.
All right, let me think.
I did.
Huh?
J-Mac traded him. He's saying.
Oh yeah.
I have Austin Riley on the Cubs.
Oh, you're trading for Chris Bryant. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, then take Chris. Oh wait, you're trying to get rid of a third baseman. Okay.
Well, Austin Riley was a third baseman.
Yeah, I was gonna say take Chris Bryant.
Well, that blows up my whole idea. All right, I'm willing to trade, so you don't need a third baseman anymore. Because you got Chris Bryant. Unless you're willing to trade Chris Bryant and Ian Anderson for Kyle Seager.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Throw him $50 million. You do it.
Nate is really thinking about this. He's like, "Am I going to take that trade?" I'm not saying
good deal.
No.
It's a veteran third baseman. That's what you're looking for, and he's tied up for a couple years. Pretty cheap.
I'm saying nothing.
Ace, you shut your mouth.
That's why I said I'm not saying nothing.
Now I want to know, is that a bad?
But Will has already why Nate's
Nate, do you want my opinion since I'm
Brandon? Quit sabotaging me.
No, okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
I might have been helping Vic. I mean,
somehow in your eyes, I don't see help.
Will has decided to for the Rangers.
It's not Will's turn.
Nate is thinking. So I'm saying why he's thinking on that trade. Wait, so Vic, you can make one more. You have one more room, one more move because he's still deciding on that trade. So before I announce what Will decided to do, Vic, you go ahead and tell me what was your second move you were going to do.
J-Mac, do you still have Nola?
What's that?
The Phillies? Aaron Nola, do you still have him?
Yes.
Yeah. Let
me see who's Seattle's got here.
Do you have anything good enough to offer to J-Mac?
I think with his hatred for the Phillies, it's not going to take much.
Well, unless he's trying to build a good team, I mean.
Out of Philadelphia. He's already traded everybody from Philadelphia.
Yes, I have.
Have you?
He has.
Yeah.
Wait, did you actually trade? I don't remember. Did you trade Bryce Harper?
I did, and I traded McCutchen. I gave McCutchen away for money.
Who'd you trade Bryce Harper for? I don't remember that trade.
Let's see. Let me look at my notes. No, I traded him for 2 prospects and money.
To who?
One of Nate's teams. I don't remember which one.
He doesn't care. That's the whole thing. He doesn't care.
Who's got the great notes on this? Because I want to read all these trades.
You probably traded it to the Braves, I think, because
no. I never in a million years would I ever have put Bryce Harper on the Braves. That would never happen.
That's just horrible, Nathan. Horrible.
I accepted the trade and I made a trade. I did not do anything else trade related. So
All right. Well,
My favorite team.
while Vic
Colorado,
is looking, I will go ahead and I will announce
I've
the.
got a
Oh,
trade
you know what?
proposal for
I'm
J-Mac.
sorry.
Oh, wait.
I was just to say, I traded Bryce Harper to the Rockies
Oh,
because it's
okay.
my own team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said one of my teams. You're saying one of the teams I root
Yeah.
for.
All right. So, J-Mac, Vic has a trade proposal for you.
Yep,
Chris Flexen.
done.
Chris Flexen. For
What position does
Aaron
he even
Nola.
play?
He's a starter. He's a starting pitcher.
you
He's a right-hand-
traded
he's a
Aaron
right-hander.
Nola?
Okay, so will you spell his last name then, so I can at least write it down?
Flex En.
Flex En. All right.
Flex
You
En.
traded Aaron
He's now
Nola?
my ace.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man,
All right, so
I'm gonna have to
Will-
go back and read these trades so I can
so
get
Will
caught
this
up.
week. So Will this week has decided he's going to sign James Paxton.
Has Nathan decided on his deal yet? Is he
No,
willing
he
to do
hasn't.
a
Can you
deal?
repeat it again?
And Trevor Rosenthal. He decided to sign Trevor and James Paxton.
To who?
So they're
Rangers.
the Rangers.
Oh, all right. Nate, yes or no?
Can you repeat it?
Kyle Seager for Chris Bryant and Ian Anderson. That's better than the Matthew Stafford trade.
Oh, I'll give you that.
Cool. Rough.
Come on, do
You
it.
know what? I'll take it.
Yeah!
Okay.
Shut up, Ace. He did it.
I'm
Wow.
kidding. I'm
He
kidding.
fell for it.
I'm kidding.
You can't take it back.
Nate, you're killing the Atlanta Braves. What are you doing?
You should have just let me have him. You should have just let
Killing
me
the
have
Atlanta
him.
Braves.
You should have just let me have him.
I'm seriously so disappointed right now.
You should have just
And
let me
how
have him, Ace. You should have gave him to me instead of Miami. You should have gave him to me instead of Miami.
Who?
Yeah.
Who? Tell me. What are your signings?
I am going to sign Justin Turner.
I thought somebody already got him. I thought Ace got him.
Yes, somebody got Justin Turner, but it wasn't me. I think it was actually Will who signed Justin Turner.
Shocker.
So,
That
Will,
was
if
Will.
you signed Justin Turner, please put it up on the screen.
Shut up, Dave.
I know that you signed Justin Turner.
I believe that's the episode I have seen. I think he did.
Yeah, I think
pretty sure
so.
he did.
I didn't write it down though. I can't write everyone's down and remember everything.
I know
I'm
somebody's
gonna have to go
got him.
back and
I
watch
thought it
the
was Ace, but
video.
I was wrong. I know somebody got him.
Oh, well, I guess then I am going to. Did anyone
Just know
sign
that
Duvall?
my Miami, I still have Sixto and Brian Anderson with my Marlins if you want them.
I did take it back.
Did anyone sign Adam Duvall yet?
I
Okay.
believe Vic did.
Okay, hold on.
I signed Adam Wainwright.
No, didn't you sign Adam Duvall too?
Did I?
I thought you did.
I don't remember doing it. Well, the first week I signed Bauer and Realmuto. Then the Pirates I signed Wainwright and Cruz.
Mhm.
The Diamondbacks I traded for Ian Desmond and signed Edwin Encarnacion and Mark Melanson.
Gotcha.
I don't have Adam Duvall.
Will,
Okay,
you,
then I
thought-
have Adam Duvall.
Yeah.
Will, you took my pick.
So I have Duvall for the A's.
So hold on, is Nate's or Vic's trade with Nate official? Because he's saying,
I took it back.
You can't say yes, then take it back.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's like J-Mac coming back saying, nope, I take the Nola trade back. You can't say it and then take it back.
Yeah, I can if it's in the same phone call.
same phone call.
Well, good thing
Wow.
this isn't a phone call.
Oh,
Wow, this is crazy.
Right. All right.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna sign Duvall And
Don't
oh,
I pick.
I probably need a starting pitcher.
Who do you got left to trade? Because I
I'll
got
take-
Sixto Sanchez in Miami that I'm willing to put out for anybody.
That's okay. I don't want anyone
Sixto
from
Sanchez,
Miami.
he's like their ace.
Right, that's fine. He can stay there. He can be stuck with him.
I'm just going to trade him to Seattle.
You're going to trade him to Seattle?
Well, she can't make any more trades to Minnesota. She's already stacked that team.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Oh, did she? I want to hear this.
I'm gonna take a chance on Tommy Malone. I'm going to say that he's going to be a spot starter for me.
It was beat up by MLB.
Tommy Malone. Oh, that's taking a risk right there.
Didn't Atlanta have him for like a minute and it sucked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe
the
you
Twins
just
Rather
have
have
to
him
do
than
some new
Sixto
scenery.
Sanchez? Yes, Garrett, the dice were rolled and picked up.
All right. Nate, what were the moves you were going to make?
I was gonna make 2 signings, but Will took one of them. I was gonna sign James Paxton, but
I'll
I'm
trade
gonna sign
Sixto
2
Sanchez
pitchers.
for Ian Anderson.
He's gonna sign 2 pitchers. Did somebody sign Tyler Anderson yet?
I don't even know who he is.
No. No.
And what about Brad Peacock?
No. Nobody signed him either.
What?
No, nobody signed him either.
Okay, I'll take both of them.
Wow.
What we need?
Okay, who's left?
Hey,
That would be me, but I need a starting pitcher.
I have Sixto Sanchez. Who do you have to offer?
She is like all over that.
I'm blowing up the Marlins. I hate them.
All right, so I have a center fielder,
Proceed.
and this is for the Houston Astros. So I will offer you Kyle Tucker
That's a good one.
for Sixto Sanchez.
Deal.
All
I'll
right,
take it back.
so Sixto.
And look at me not take it back.
So Sixto's coming to Houston, and that's only making my pitching staff a little bit better. And now, and so man, that's and I don't think anybody has signed Jackie Bradley yet. So I am going to actually sign Jackie Bradley. So I'm going to trade for Sixto and sign Jackie Bradley. So I need that too. All right, so those are my 2 picks.
So if Nate reneged on his trade, I still have a move, right?
Yes.
Because that was one of my moves.
Yes.
Who do you want for? How about Kyle Seager and Brian Anderson from the Marlins?
To who? You just
For Chris Bryant and Ian Anderson. You get Kyle Seager from the Mariners, Brian Anderson from the Marlins, for Chris Bryant and Ian Anderson. You get a third baseman and outfielder.
If he says no, call me.
I want to hear his answer, so I'm going to say no for that reason.
Oh,
I want to hear his answer just because of that.
Nate's passed up on 2 decent deals.
Nate passed up on both of those? What?
He
is
passed up
wrong
on both
with
of
you?
them.
I will.
You didn't like the breaks.
Right? I will give you for those 2 guys. Wait. Oh, wait. Who we trading? Let's talk.
Okay. Who you got? I need a third baseman. Either way we go.
Who
Who are you trying to trade?
Kyle Seager.
Kyle Seager.
Kyle.
I'm looking for a third baseman and a pitcher.
Man,
Ooh.
that's kind of steep.
I'll toss in Brian Anderson.
I can't. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't give you a pitcher, but what?
Well, then you're not in the conversation.
Well, I'm not giving you one from Houston. I'm telling you that.
I don't want any pitchers from Houston.
What pitcher are you looking at?
What teams? Who you got?
The A's.
Oakland.
Now, can't you trade with any 6 of his teams?
Yeah.
Or does that okay?
Yeah.
We already took Nola, so.
I can't believe you traded Nola. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
I got a pitcher for the Rockies. You want to trade for the Rockies?
Are you going to blow up?
Maybe not. What about let's see.
Well, why don't you? Don't forget it.
I
Forget it.
Deal for the Braves, and that was it.
That was it. Doesn't sound like anybody knows the trades that they want to make.
Well, I need a
Well,
closer.
I got one for
how about
the Rockies. J-Mac wants
straight
to
trade
listen.
Kyle Seager for Sean Manaea?
Sean Manaea?
Yeah, he's a closer.
How
Sean
about that? How about that? And you pay me $10 million.
Done.
Okay, done.
You were saying that because the Rockies don't land a thing?
Sean Manaea is typically a starter, but that's okay. You can use him as a closer.
I can do whatever I want with him, Ace.
That's fine. That's fine.
Whatever. I just picked up Kyle Seager and got $10 million towards his contract, so I'm okay.
There you go.
Even though we're not paying attention to
Well,
money.
That was
Even though money means absolutely nothing.
Well, that was all of our moves and picks from today. There was a few things that were kind of interesting, hit and miss with trade-wise and everything else, but I'm sure there's going to be more into it. As everybody sees in our little GM game here that we're playing, Nate is trying to blow up the Angels, and J-Mac is trying to destroy the Phillies. And
He's doing a good job.
And Vic, I'm not quite sure exactly what she's trying to do.
I want to hear Vic's Twins team.
Oh my gosh, she has stacked that team.
Yes, please let me listen to it.
I signed. Actually, Miami signed Trevor Bauer, and we traded him to Minnesota.
Okay, I like that move.
We signed JT Realmuto, traded him to Minnesota.
Okay.
We signed Adam Wainwright, traded him to Minnesota. Pittsburgh did. Pittsburgh then signed Nelson Cruz, traded him to Minnesota.
I heard that. I heard that one. So who off of Minnesota have you taken away?
Nobody.
She traded some players away. She traded some people.
Yeah, I traded J Happ and Williams, Astudillo, and Brandon Waddle, and Ben
Oh man, you
Mercer.
got rid of the big guy? Oh.
Who's the big guy? Is that Happ?
Well, no, William, whatever his name is. The guy is like
Astrodano.
Yeah, for a big guy, the guy's like got decent speed.
But I got Realmuto.
Why haven't you traded like Buxton or Sano away yet? I mean,
I would have traded Buxton a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm allowed 2 moves a week, Brandon.
Oh no!
Hey, when it comes up,
If I could do it all in one day,
call the Phillies.
I'd be loaded.
Call the
Yeah.
Phillies.
Have you guys done the center yet, or no? Is that coming up, or was that one of the first?
How
ones?
about Rex Chapman for Brian Anderson?
We are doing so next week.
I need a third baseman.
We'll actually do some more picks on Saturday, and our stuff and our one on Saturday is actually going to be the AL East.
Okay.
Oh Christ!
I'm gonna have to watch some of these old clips unless you guys want to send me your trades. I want to see some of these.
That's Baltimore.
I don't remember who I had. For
good luck.
She has Baltimore. She's gonna blow up Baltimore. Here comes the blowing up of
Pretty
Baltimore.
much.
Well, Baltimore doesn't need blowing up. They're already blowing up. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna trade Adley Rutschman to Seattle. That's a move I've already decided on.
Because
Trey Mancini to Seattle.
Because Vic has decided she's going to try and make 2 really good teams. It's going to be Minnesota and Seattle, and then the rest of them she's just going to completely dismantle.
well, thank you, Vic, for making Minnesota good because their real GMs can't do a lick. So
They were the best team I had at the moment.
All right.
So I went with what I had.
So, of course, I want to thank everybody for watching. But before we hop off,
100
how about-
dumpster fire.
J-Mac, how about you tell us a little bit about that anchor, huh?
Yeah. So if you could not catch us live tonight and watch us, you can listen to us anytime on Anchor. These episodes get downloaded within about 24 to 48 hours after. They're available there. You take a really long lunch break. You have a really long drive. You can listen to the show. It's about an hour and a half long right in there. You catch us on Anchor. By the way, if you want to do this, if you want to get into sports podcasting, you want to have a podcast of your own, Anchor's got all the tools, and everything is free to start. Doesn't get any better than that.
Free is Anchor.fm.com.
1-800-DUMPSTER-FIRE. I love it because I don't think anybody would be calling us to become GMs anytime soon. But
I think they'd call me if they were Seattle or Minnesota.
And mess around. I will answer you. I actually have your White Sox, and so
he's going to trade me Jose Abreu for a 5th-round draft pick three years from now.
What I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to make my rosters good, so I actually get votes on.
That's because you had decent teams to start with.
Not all of them, trust me, not all of them, but I'm trying to get votes on the
out
best.
Of 6 teams, I had one decent team. One.
So all right,
Yeah, but you should have been trying to make those other 5 better.
Can you make Pittsburgh better with 2 moves a week, Brandon? Can you?
So J-Mac.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, not J-Mac, but how about we'll go with Brandon this time? So Brandon, why don't you tell me, how can you win one of those free shirts?
Well, you can become an elite club member of the Viewer of the Month.
That sounds fancy.
Yes. By commenting, sharing, liking our videos. I mean, we got one each day. Each week you can be on there and comment and get your name thrown in for the Viewer of the Month. I know there's 4 of them. I'm the head of it, so I'm proud to be in that club.
And I'll tell you what, Garrett Sherrill right now is actually in a pretty big lead because he's left a lot of comments. So
do we know who January was? I did not hear.
I don't
Calculating.
We haven't said it in chat yet. We will, and we'll probably be announcing that tomorrow on Green Talk. So be ready for that, and we will announce the winner.
Okay.
Hey, it's the shortest month, so
and
it's the easiest way to get.
And then Brandon, and then let's say somebody can't come on and comment, but they still want one of those shirts. How can they get one?
Just easy. Just get in contact with one of the ASAP members, and we'll direct you to all the information to get one. $14.95 plus shipping and handling. Size is small to 2X, but a little bit more. We could probably get you a bigger size. So, yeah, there you go. Wear it proud.
Yeah, Brandon was that first ever Viewer of the Month, and now look, he's on the network now. So
yes, and I was nice enough to give my shirt to the network.
There you go. All right,
and then I bought one.
All right, so J-Mac, you got 30 seconds to say whatever it is you got to say. Go ahead.
Tomorrow is February 4th. It is this side. Nope, this side.
No,
whatever. It's Ace's birthday tomorrow. So 32 years young.
That's fine.
Whatever. 32 years young tomorrow. We all need to wish him a happy birthday. Brother, take care of yourself tomorrow. Have a good time. Sorry I can't be there. We'll party up when I can, though. And take care of yourself. Happy birthday. Yeah, don't eat the yellow snow.
No.
But take care of yourself. Happy birthday. That's all I want to use my 30 seconds for.
All right, Nate the Great, you got 30
You look like a monkey and you smell like one too.
Happy early birthday, and that's all I have to say.
All right.
Man of few words. He's a man of few words.
The Vic.
Ace. Thanks for trying to sabotage all my trade talks today. Appreciate it.
I didn't say nothing.
Even though you are virtually the one solely responsible for the teams that I have. Nothing big in the sports world happening right now. Some real Sundays coming up. I'm going out to my mom's. We're going to have chili cheese dogs.
Ooh.
And I'm going to root for the Kansas City Chiefs to destroy Tom Brady and make him cry like a little baby. Because I love Tom Brady and Barry Bonds, in case you didn't catch that. Happy early birthday, Ace. Don't eat the yellow snow. Don't pee in a bucket that's not covered.
All right. Well,
Next time you see Dave, make sure you punch him in the face.
Wow.
all right. All right.
That's it.
So going on, Brandon, you got 30 seconds.
Well, happy birthday there, buddy. Glad to get to know you through this network. So someday, hopefully, we get to meet up, have a beer or something. But lately, I seem like every time I'm on, I always got to talk about somebody that passed that hit me kind of personal. Twins lost a excellent first base coach in Wayne Twilliger, longtime first base coach for the Twins. So rest in peace, Twig. All his friends and family. I'm sorry to hear about that. So.
Yeah, I just want to shout my friend Helen. Her mom passed away today. If you're watching this, Helen, I love you. Stay strong. If you need anything, you know I'm right here.
All right. And then, of course, I am Ace, and I'll give you my final 30 seconds here to say so.
Words of wisdom.
Of course. Remember, though, we have shared this multiple times. On Sunday, we actually have a special time for Between the Ropes on Sunday because we have a very special guest that is going to be appearing on there, and his name is actually Garrison Creed. So it would be awesome to come on and check it out. That's going to be 12 Central.
Oh, I can't wait.
So do not forget about that, and it's going to be a great time. All right. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night, and I want to thank everybody again for the happy birthday wishes and mess around.
You're not welcome.
And mess around, Dave. I see you out there too. Yes, that's my buddy. That's my best friend. Thank you very much.
That's
All
my
right.
best friend.
And so everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you again. Well, you'll see me again tomorrow on Real Talk. So everybody have a great night, and I'll see you then.
Both ASC West fans are rooting for peace.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.